Hey everyone, this is episode 68 of Noodle Time. Welcome back. Here with me is the biggest Griffin Dorsey hater, OSG. How's it going, sir?
I hate the way he doesn't share goals with the rest of the team, man. He's just taking all the goals. He's taking all the goals, bro. Like, hey, I hate that he's ripping holes in the net at the opponent's stadium. It's like, bro, just Griffin Dorsey taking over, bro. Like, just don't let him shoot. Don't let him shoot left foot or right foot. He'll blast it by you. Blast it by you.
Yeah,
Jesus.
don't let anyone in Houston open, honestly, at this point, because everyone's just gonna shoot at your goal and you don't know what's gonna happen. But yeah, guys, we're just like I'm in cloud nine right now because I was watching that game against Portland last night. It was just insane. I don't know how to describe it. Like every time we just go to Cascadia or on the road in general for like the past few years, it's just been like hope for the best, but we're mostly gonna lose. But last night it was just incredible. Pretty much, it's consistent to what we've seen so far with the Dynamo this year, and there's just a lot to talk about because that
Well,
win against Portland, it was just insane.
not really consistent with what we've seen all year because remember we only have 2 wins on the road. All our other road wins have
Uh,
been in Open Cup and have been in other games, and so consistent as far as the way we played last night. It was Ben's best 11. They got the start, so we kind of expected us to play well last night, but we were still curious because it was on the road, and then of course it was pouring down rain to add to it on a turf to even add to that too as well. So
no, yeah, and I should just rephrase that with like consistent with how we've been improving this year, not necessarily like results on paper, like especially on the road, but rather like we've been seeing the growth of this team this year, which has been undeniable. Like obviously there has been like a big issue for us, but we've already got a road win against Portland and knocking them out of playoffs again, and Coco and Dorsey celebrating like in Manotas' corner. Like it's just insane how the parallels go, and I know this year has been anything short of amazing, honestly.
bookmark it. Episode 68. Dynamo are in the playoffs, which
Yeah,
is insane to say. It's been 6-7 years since the Dynamo made the playoffs. You know, you got 2 Open Cups in between that playoff run. 2013 was the last time the Dynamo were, at the end of their actual relevancy. So,
relevancy. Yeah,
yeah, it's just nuts, bro. It's nuts. Just from everything that we've gone through with the change with Ted Siegel, Pat Onstad, Asher Mendelson, the complete overhaul of the roster. I mean, I think even Pat said it on Glenn's show a couple of weeks ago that we actually had more transactions and transition to the team than St. Louis did. So in a way, we're more like an expansion team at the same time as well, which I mean makes sense. Look at the friggin' roster; it's complete overhaul. Only a couple players stuck around, so that's just nuts, man. Just to see what we've done, trust the process was told to us, and not everybody did, but they're believing now or they're jumping on board now. Now we just got to get those other fans that once believed in the team to come out of the woodworks and get their butts back into the stadium, man. And we'll see. This is a playoffs is a good time to figure that out. Granted, it might be a weeknight game, which is going to be tough. So we'll see how that goes. Still not an excuse. You should still get your butt to the stadium, pawn your kids off on somebody else, grandma, grandpa. If they're old enough, just leave them alone by themselves long enough. If they're too young, then lock them in the closet and give them food and iPad, and they won't even notice you're gone. But dude, I mean, all right. So like the start of that game, man, I'd say that was just kind of. I mean, you knew Portland was going to counter and bring the pressure. And at first, dude, that game was just the way it started was just wild. Wild how open the game was and just going back and forth at each other. Dynamo were taking a little more time moving the ball at the field, but when they did, it looked good and getting opportunities. Portland had some great opportunities. Clark making some saves, and the defense was just on point last night for the most part until the 80th minute. But defense was on point last night, and then of course Gryffindor. Oh, geez, Gryffindor just breaking it open,
Gryffindor,
bro.
yeah.
Yeah, just breaking it open, man.
No,
Love to
yeah.
see it.
No, like Gryffindor was just in another level, and like he's been another level for like almost the entire season, so which is just insane. And and just to add a little bit more context into this game, Portland had their backs against the wall because they had to win this game to get into playoffs. But before that, like the week before, it was like the first loss in about 7 games, and since late August, they pretty much won 5 games and drew twice. And like OSG mentioned like a little bit in the previous episodes, like Portland has been like in an insane run since they changed head coaches, and obviously going into this game, like it was pretty much do or die for them. So for me, it was just like a matter of okay, Portland's gonna go all out here, and I figured that we just like try to exploit Houston's weaknesses that I've seen so far, which is are just gonna try counter them and catch them off the break, or just capitalize off their mistakes, which OC just mentioned, and that's what happened. And I felt like Portland did very well when it comes to like try to find those type of spaces, and at the end, that's how they got their only goal in the game. But Houston just put it away. Like they just put the game away early, and I was just like, my mind was blown. I was like, this is happening on the road in Cascadia.
At 11 minutes into the game, 11 minutes into the game. And of course, Steve Clark, coming from Portland, was getting on the fans' nerves. So Portland had one job to do, and the fans had one job to do, and they kind of forgot their job, and they started focusing on Steve Clark and booing him and F the keeper and like, y'all idiots, you forgot your job. Y'all forgot to support your team and root for your team. Y'all worried about Steve Clark tying his shoe or taking his gloves off. Y'all got rattled, just like Dorsey rattled the back of that net. Dude, it's just it was just amazing to see. And then coming out at halftime, I was like, all right, man, what is Ben gonna do? What is Ben gonna do? Because the way Portland's countering and getting opportunities, when's he gonna back the team up and start playing more defense? And so we were talking about that last night and kind of expected maybe the 60th minute at the latest. But Coco said, forget this, bro. 3 minutes into the second half, which it took too long to friggin' shoot, but it worked out. It worked out in the end, bro. Like, oh my god, I'm sitting there. What? Shoot! Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and I remember that I was also kind of worried about Coco because he came in from the international break with a knock, and he did score in during the international break. So like his form was insane as well, and just looking at him, he just like finished that one in, and just his patience really to find the opening. It was just insane. Like the way that finished though, it was like it looked unstoppable
Well,
for like the keeper or just the defender really.
I mean, whose page did he take? He took it out of Gryffindor's book, and just like, bro, you can do it. So can I, man.
Yeah,
So can I. And Coco's got a shot on him because he takes some rips from outside the box, and they're hard and they're on target. So he's like, dude, Griff has been doing this for half a season from this spot right here. Like, let me do it too. It took a rip and just the keeper had no chance. He couldn't even react. And it's kind of funny because on all three of the goals, the keeper was kind of low, and they just took a rip and just put it into the back of the net, top corner, and like, geez, like, so keeper just had no chance and nothing he can do for that. And after Coco scored, Portland was trying to push back on us, and of course they were. I mean, they had to. if everybody was watching, coaching staff and everybody was watching the scores from across the league, and so Portland knew they were in trouble and they had to score. They had to win. Had to win to get back because they were sitting in 10th place, and that's not a good spot to be in. And they tried, but Dynamo did not park the bus. They kept trying to push, not push too hard, but they kept putting the attack on, and then Griffin ends up in the same spot again. Like, who leaves the man open in the box? Well, he's just a defender, so hey, he comes out of nowhere, give him the ball in the box, and he takes another rip and probably hits the same spot he did. I think all three goals were in the same friggin' spot. They all hit the same spot in the back of the net. Rip. Granted, they were on the opposite side of the fields, but you know what I mean, hit the same freaking spot, bro. It was just unbelievable. 3-0 on the road at Portland. At that point, aggregate was 8-0 between the two games. I'm like, wow, bro, look at this team. They are for real, making a statement on the road and on decision day with Apple 360 was watching. They were one of the 4 games that they were had focused on because Portland was trying to make the playoffs. So everybody who was watching 360 could see that score just rise and rise and rise. And like, man, so take notice into the Dynamo. I know some MLS insiders have taken notice. Not insiders, but experts doing national coverage have taken some notice and made a couple predictions. So we won't hold it against them for their preseason picks because, I mean, tell you the truth, not too many people saw us sitting in, including our own, saw us sitting in 4th place going into the season, into the playoffs. 4th place, Houston Dynamo. Crazy to say that. Say it again. Say it out loud. 4th place, Houston Dynamo.
4th place, and it's just insane how we got here. Like, I had to go back to this the records from 2017, and pretty much how our best points total like in that like decade. And it turns out that we finished like in 2017, we did finish in 4th place too, but with 50 points. And I was like, whoa. Well, we're this good. And just to go back even further to see like how, like, when was our last time we reached 51 points, and that was 2013. So we're pretty good back then. And I don't know, yeah, like just looking back, like just for like in between 2017 and where we're at right now, like it's just insane, like how this team has improved, just especially last year and the year before. Like we always just like the difference is just night and day, and the product is just evolving as we just watch. And I was actually gonna get back into the lineup really and try to not mention Dorsey's name again, because there's a lot of credit to hand down, especially for Hector Herrera, because he did break a Dynamo record last night with his assist to Griffin Dorsey for the second goal. And this is from Dynamo history, like on Twitter. Definitely a good account to follow for when it comes to historical facts about the Dynamo. And the account just mentioned that Herrera broke the Dynamo single season assist record last night, and this was his 17th of the regular season and 19th in all competitions, and that record just belonged to Brad Davis all along, with 16 in the league and 18 in all competitions, and that was back in 2011. So this is a 12-year record that hasn't been touched. Insane.
Insane is the right word.
For a defensive midfielder that has been like contesting the league record for this year, like in his second season. I have no words.
Incredible. His first full season with us, incredible what he's done. And he shuts the people who said, well, we pay for him and he didn't do nothing for us last season. And, he took this season very serious, and he's still a dominant player. and just doing great things for us. Like you said, what was this, 17 and 19 total? And then how many? I think he had 4 goals for the season. So if you, what is that, 21 goal opportunities for MLS, and I don't know what it is. I don't know how many goals he scored in Leagues Cup or MLS Open Cup. I don't think it was, maybe one in the Leagues Cup. So 22 efforts into 22 goals, man. That's just insane. 20, because the, what was it? Wonga had 20 goals for, he was the golden boot for 20 goals, but I don't know how many assists he had. But yeah, man, just Hector Herrera, team MVP, obviously. I don't think there's going to be a question. Arthur can get like a vote from one random person just for what he did in that, secure in that midfield as well. But Hector Herrera, 99 votes out of 100 for sure.
And I had to look back to confirm he did score 4 goals this year, for in league play, and yeah, but still, like, it's insane. Like, just the turnaround. Obviously, last year it was kind of unfair for him to get the criticism because he came in halfway through the season, and he did go through an injury, and he was also saving himself for the World Cup. So a limited time for him to make a difference last year, but this year's a different story. He that this is his team. Ben Olsen pretty much just supports him at all costs, and we've seen it already. And it just feels like there's more to be seen in the playoffs, hopefully, and next year when we have like all these competitions going on. Conca Champions, man, I still can't believe it. We make it,
Dude,
nah,
okay.
man.
CCC, yeah. Just the season, bro. The season alone that we've run across. Just the Open Cup run, even the Leagues Cup run just came to a kind of a short end, and we're in an unexpected end with Charlotte and just everything. So, well done. Let's go win the CCC, and then we can go win the World Cup of Club.
The Club
And
World Cup, yeah.
and beat Man City or Real Madrid in the final.
No, we gotta face Madrid in the final, and
No, be quiet.
yeah, if you guys don't know, I'm like, when I was a kid, I started following Madrid, and if they ever face each other, I'm obviously gonna root for the Dynamo because they're the team I've been following the closest for a while now, and it would just be insane to see them just beat Real Madrid in the big stage. But obviously, at this point, it's something that they still have to clinch the Club World Cup.
That'd be nice, bro. It'd be interesting to see how that works out too. Just us playing against obviously better clubs in the world, which would be insane. So that'd be fun. But hey, that's a little bit too far ahead. Let's stick to
Yeah,
what the now is, and just winning that game 3-1 with Mikel having a brain fart right there at the end in the 80th minute, thinking that Clark was calling it. I definitely got to say there was a language barrier there, because he literally just gave up, and Clark wasn't coming out to grab the ball in the air, and Mikel, I guess, thought he was and just let it go and dropped right to the Portland player, who just kind of tapped it over Clark, and Clark just gets up and he's just kind of grinning at Mikel like, dude. He's like,
that's my clean sheet, man.
yeah, another clean sheet like that. That's like 3 at the end of the season right there, where Steve lost him in the final minutes of the game. I say Steve lost him. He lost a clean sheet, but there's more to it. But man,
Yeah, yeah.
but a dub's a dub. Unfortunately, Vancouver couldn't whoop LA. They did tie LA, which dropped LA to 3, and Seattle got their win, which moved them up to 2. So there was no hope for us passing either one of those. So while we had to win to maintain our 4th position, we did. We're going to host RSL now in the best of 3. Home game, away game, or home game. I'm looking forward to it. RSL still is dangerous, but as I'm looking at their availability before their game yesterday, they had Eric Holt, Pablo Ruiz, Chicho Arango all out. all out. And Arango was hamstring, so they'll tell him when he'll come back. They had 6 players out yesterday. That's a big chunk of their roster, whether it be starters or depth. So they're coming in riding the ambulance to Houston whenever they decide to schedule this freaking game, which is a TBD. Don't know when MLS is going to announce the schedule. Hopefully, by the time y'all listen to this, we'll know the schedule. But they'll probably BS and wait till the wild card games are played, even though that doesn't matter to us and affect our game. Schedule our damn game, but it will be on Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday. Again, most likely it'll be on Sunday or Monday. And those teams that are playing like St. Louis, who plays the wild card game, will probably be on a Tuesday, maybe a Wednesday. That's crazy. 4 days to play these games. They don't need to do 4 days. Just should have scheduled them for weekends only. Period. Anyways, because now if it's during the week, then OSG does not get to go to Houston to watch a dang weekday game. The job will not allow, which means I'm pissed because I am a season ticket holder. So I did buy a playoff ticket. Haven't purchased it yet, but it'll become automatic, and I will have a friggin' I guess I'll have a ticket to friggin' sell, because maybe not. It's only $16, so I may just end up giving it away. But I may try to. I may just sell it for the $16 that I paid for it, just to get my money back. And because other people who are not season ticket holders are probably paying $30-$35 with fees, so hey, it may do them a favor and just like, hey, dude, just give me a $20 bill and here's the ticket. Go to the games. Make sure you cheer for me. I'll be at home watching on TV, being loud and proud. But how you feeling about RSL?
They're gonna have a chip on the shoulder for sure, because we knocked them out of the Open Cup and we beat them at their house in the last time out and in the league. And yeah, you did mention like those players that could be potentially be missing for this one, or just for one game of the series. And it's still gonna be MLS playoffs. Anything can happen at this point. So Houston's gonna have to be on their toes 100%, even if it's home or away. And obviously, I have like a little bit of an issue with like the fact that only the first round is a best of 3 series, because past to the conference semifinals is just gonna be a one-off, which in my opinion should have been that way. And yeah, Houston did clinch the 4th seed here, and they will be facing RSL since they have the 5th seed. And yeah, it's just gonna be like a matter of either trying to put the game away early, or winning it like in try to win it in extra time, because for this series in particular, there is no aggregate score or extra time, and if the game ends in a tie, it's gonna go straight to penalties. So
In this round only.
In this round only, yeah. And yeah, it's just gonna be a matter of pretty much executing the game plan, and pretty much just try to like avoid RSL with the counter, because they got some pretty talented players. But again, it really depends on who they have available, and especially for the second game, because I feel like for that game, they're gonna bring it for sure on the road in over in Sandy.
And to recap, we played RSL back in May, all the way back in May, and that was a 0-0 draw at home. And then, of course, like you said, we got that Open Cup 3-1 win in Houston, and it was a 1-0 us, and then RSL was able to score, and then we had to go into that friggin' extra time, which was just hectic. And Coco with his friggin' goal right there put him away, and we ended up winning that one 3-1. And then 3 days later, we go to RSL and just embarrass them again, and 3-0 in RSL. So 6-1 aggregate on 3 games, 2 wins and a draw. So the confidence is definitely going to be with Houston, and RSL is just going to be they're going to try to do something different, bring something different. And of course, it's going to be hard for them with the injuries that they have in their roster, in their lineup. But like you said, it is the playoffs. This is a totally different season. This is where performance anxiety comes under some of these players, and the soccer gods like to get involved in these type of games as well. So it'll be interesting and curious to see how we come out of the gate in our first home playoff game. That's crazy to say still too. Like,
Yep.
unbelievable. So first home game. So guys, man, it's a home away home. So the second home game is not guaranteed unless we lose one of those games. So let's get to that first game. If you can make it to the game, get your butt to the game, and let's be one of those people that are in the stadium and say, hey, I was at a Dynamo playoff game. And some of you can say you were at a Dynamo playoff game in Robertson. Now let's say that you were at a Dynamo playoff game at Shell Energy, and let's bring more memories and more history to the club and keep it going from there on out, man. So I'm ready for the playoffs. It's going to be a whole long week. I guess it's great that we have 2 Wednesday night games just to prep us up and watch the wild cards, which I'm sure are going to be crazy games because someone's got to win.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and just to just really recap the playoff bracket, because it's already said we're on the same side as St. Louis City and the wildcard winner. So if the Dynamo manage to go through, they're gonna be facing the winner of St. Louis versus the wildcard winner. And for the wildcard game, it's gonna be Sporting KC against San Jose Earthquakes. So they're gonna go at each other for sure. And obviously, whoever wins that game is gonna have to also beat St. Louis City, the number 1 seed in the West. So that's gonna be interesting to find out. And but yeah, obviously, we have to take care of ourselves before even thinking about conference semifinals. So it's gonna be a good series for sure. Long road ahead for playoffs, 100%. And yeah, I'm excited, man. I still can't believe it.
Well, let's do this. So I'm thinking San Jose is going to beat Sporting in SKC in that wild card. How about you?
I feel like it's gonna be like a really crazy game. I don't think Kansas City have been as consistent this year, but I guess they found a way to make it through in the last day. And I haven't been watching like a lot of their games this year, but I've been noticing that it's just been like an up and down year. So I can definitely see San Jose beating them, but it might just be like a crazy game, honestly. And I
Well,
doubt
look,
any of them go through. I doubt they'll go through against St. Louis, honestly.
San Jose struggled yesterday against Austin 1-1, but Sporting KC at home in a must-win won 3-1 against Minnesota. So this one is basically it is a toss-up, and it's
Yep.
it's an intriguing matchup. So it'll be interesting. I'll be tuned in just to watch it. Of course, I got nothing else to do on Wednesday night, anyways. So it'll be intriguing. But on the other side of the wild card is New York Red Bulls hosting Charlotte FC, which will be another intriguing game. But it's in the East, not as much. We do have friends in Charlotte, so I think I'll kind of be rooting for Charlotte over the Red Bulls, anyways. Even though we did lose to them both, so yeah, I'll just be rooting for Charlotte just because
Yeah.
we have friends over there that we've talked to on the show before. So I'll be rooting for Charlotte. What about you, bro?
I'll root for Charlotte. I'm also rooting for them to beat Cincinnati if they go through, and
Which will be
and for them
impossible.
for them to beat Philadelphia if they go through the conference semi.
Woo-wee. Beat those two. Yeah, just hey, any higher seat. We're ranked 9th in the Shield right now. So any of the top 8 teams can lose before we make it to the final. That'll be great. So we can host the final. That would be
Yep.
something. That would be something special. But obviously, there's going to be a lot of work there. But I'm gonna run through. I'm gonna go ahead and run through the entire bracket with you real quick, and we don't
All
need to
right.
spend a lot of time. But it's best of 3 first round. Just tell me who you think's going to make it through. I'll mention
Yep.
the game. I'll tell you who I think's going to win without no detail, and then I'll let you talk, and you can you want to get some detail, bro, get some detail. But so St. Louis will be hosting that wild card winner, whether it be Sporting or San Jose. So what do you think happens there? And that one's going to be tough for me because I do think St. Louis will make it out, even though they haven't been playing as well towards the end of the season.
Yes, St. Louis takes it, honestly. Like, I don't. There's the only way I see like the wildcard team going through is if they catch them by surprise, especially in St. Louis, which is a tough place to play. But obviously, Seattle got a result there just now. But
And
yeah,
both
man.
and both teams are scary. SKC and San Jose are both scary. They have those forwards that can score at a whim. Just can the rest of the team provide for them? So they're both scary teams, and you know what wild cards can do? They can mess up brackets.
Yeah.
All right, so obviously you got Houston versus RSL. Are we gonna do it in 2 games, or is it gonna take all 3?
Might take 3, honestly. Like, depending on how RSL approach it. But if they can get 2, nice. But yeah, I see us going through.
Yeah, I'm with you there. It's probably going to take 3 just to be the safe bet. LAFC hosting Vancouver, and obviously we saw LAFC at Vancouver last night in a 1-1, so they get to play each other 4 times in a row. So how do you see that one finishing out?
No, yeah, I've been liking Vancouver, how they've been playing. They definitely improved like over from last year, but LAFC, they have to go through here. Like, unless Vancouver just like do something surprising and just take over the series in LA, or just like the first game. So I can see Vancouver pulling the surprise here, but I see LA going through this one.
Yeah, I'm going to agree with you too, LAFC. Vancouver is tough at home, and they did miss 2 penalty kicks last night. The same kicker missed them both too, so they could have won that game 3-1. Could have got that +2 goal differential for us to help us out and make us the 3 seed. But you know what? Whatever. So LAFC is going to beat Vancouver because Vancouver couldn't do their damn job. So, oh man, all right. Here, this one's going to be a tough one. Just interesting the way Dallas played last night. Seattle hosting Dallas.
Seattle has been kind of weird sometimes at home, and FC Dallas is a good team, and there's definitely a possibility that FC Dallas gets the edge here, but Seattle in playoffs is always just consistent, so it's just gonna be Seattle by slim margin.
Yeah, man, it's going to be hard to pick. It's going to be hard to pick Dallas because the SKC, Seattle's been playing better towards the end of the season here, and then, like you said, it's going to be playoffs. Their stadium's going to be friggin' loud. They built their stadium correct, so it makes it even louder than what it really is. So that's going to be insane. That one will probably take 3 games as well, though. So that'll be interesting, man. That'll be very interesting. All right. Red Bulls and Charlotte winner have to go to Cincinnati.
Charlotte.
Charlotte to be Cincinnati?
Oh, yeah, that's for the wild card. Yeah, I said Charlotte too. I'm rooting for Charlotte to beat Cincinnati, but there's no way Cincinnati loses this game.
I think Cincinnati wins both games, to tell you the truth. Sorry, friends in Charlotte, but I think Cincinnati wins the home game easily. Not easily. I don't think there's any threat of them losing home. But then they go to Charlotte and they win that game. But however, Charlotte provided last night, bro, 65,000 fans in their stadium. They filled that football stadium up to the friggin' rim. And Messi played as well at the same time, and Miami could not score. So back to retirement for you, Messi. Oh, here's another one, bro. Philly and New England played last night as well. And here they are. They get to play each other 3 times now. So they could play 4 times in a row as well. What a quinky. Yeah, dude.
Yeah. But yeah, Philly goes through, honestly. Like, not, I wouldn't say as easily, but I see them just being a much better team over New England right now.
I think that one's going to take 3 games as well. Philly doesn't play well on the road at all. New England does play well at home, and New England's playing a little bit better lately. So, yeah, I think that one takes 3 games, but I think you're right. Philly takes that one. Columbus at Atlanta. And Atlanta has a tough game on the road to start off because Almada took a red card and is suspended for the first game. So Thiago Almada, their best player, will be missing the road game against Columbus.
I say, yeah, Columbus goes through in 3 games. That's how I feel like.
I agree with you too. It's going to be 3 games as well. I would not be surprised though if Atlanta does get past Columbus. That would be my upset pick in the East. Just kind of like it's either Vancouver over LSC or Dallas over Seattle in the West is my one upset pick. And then the last one, you have Orlando hosting Nashville. Orlando probably the scariest team in the league, I would think.
Yeah, I see them winning both games. The first 2 games over Nashville. Like Nashville hasn't been like convincing for me, and Orlando's just insanely good.
Yeah, and Fafa feet won't eat. So yeah, I'm with you there. Orlando's going to take that in 2 games, and then move on to play whoever Columbus and Atlanta could beat up each other. So it's going to be interesting, man. So that's the gist of the playoffs. It's definitely fun times, and those games will be fun to watch because they mean everything in the world. So I'll be tuning into a lot of those games at the same time. Of course, depending on what times they are. We have 4 days to play these games, so Jesus. So I guess we'll be able to watch as many as possible, or have to watch 360 if 2 are going on at the same time. But Dynamo first, and then we'll see what else we watch on the side, and and then of course we still got the Astros, which as we're recording, we got Astros tonight, Game 6. Hopefully they can just finish off the Rangers and send them chunks packing back to Dallas and shut their stupid fans up because they want Houston. They want Houston. But
you mean Arlington, right?
No, South Oklahoma.
Okay. No, man, like playoffs everywhere, man. Like we're back. We're obviously the Rockets and Texans and the Dash have to make playoffs now, and
yeah, sucks for the Dash. We didn't have to bring them back up, but speaking of Rockets, as we're recording, the season starts in 3 days or 2 days, whichever it is. So I'm kind of excited for that. Kevin Porter Jr. though kind of ruined it by trying to strangle his girlfriend or whatever, and he's been traded from the team. So Rockets still gonna be a fun team to watch. They still lack defense, but it'll be fun to watch. The Texans on a bye this weekend, so we don't have no Texans to watch on NFL Sunday Football. So it'll be good times in H-Town.
Yes, sir. But yeah, guys, we're in playoffs now, so get excited because it's actually noodle time now.
It is. Warm your noodles up and be ready.
Yes, sir. No, but yeah, guys, thank you so much for tuning in once again, and stay real, y'all.
H's.